Good afternoon. Welcome to Tiger Talk, a brand new talk show produced by TV Studios. This new show is a chance for students and viewers to talk with noteworthy community members about prevailing events. For our premiere episode, we are honored to introduce our very first guest, Dr. Brian Henry, Superintendent of the Waynesville R6 School District. Welcome to the show, Dr. Henry. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, Nessa. I'm flattered to be the first guest.
Thank you. The renovation of the Waynesville Middle School has been a topic of great interest. Can you give us a progress update?
Sure. Actually, the building's coming along very well. We are about 84% complete at this time. There's casework going in the science centers. There'll be lockers coming in about a week. We're really starting to finish off all the brick. And so we'll have a product hopefully ready to take possession around July 15th. So our plan, barring any unforeseen circumstances, is to have all students in there for the start of the next school year. So we're really excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of progression, the recently converted K-5 schools and the 6th grade center utilize cohorts and house formats to direct students into leadership skills. How will the middle school follow suit?
Well, the middle school is going to they've brought up our pilot PBL program, which is project-based learning with the technology, went 2-to-1 technology in our school district. We're actually there 3rd through 8th grades. And so next year, it's actually coming to the high school. But the middle school did adopt that concept, and they started doing project-based learning at the middle school level. We're hoping to see that continue to expand to where there's more integrated teams working together on projects. You know, I know at the 6th grade center, most of you the students have been part of that already, but we're hoping to see that continue to grow because it's such a great way to be able to do real-world relevant learning activities for our students. So we're excited about that. You will see that there actually is going to be a 9th grade PBL cohort next year. So they'll have some enhanced technology in those classrooms too. So you're going to see it expand. It is at the middle school, and we're going to continue to push that across all grade levels. We really have a lot of faith in that particular mode of instruction, and it's been very effective for, especially in the English language arts area, believe it or not. Yeah, so
that's awesome. That's going to be really great. Speaking of really great, our school is really proud of its safety measures, and although it is kind of an overarching topic in today's society, and the middle school is being renovated. So how will the middle school take safety?
Oh, that's a great question. Safety is certainly first and foremost on our minds nowadays. And our middle school will have all of the up-to-date features of any building, whether that be automatic locks. We'll have a brand new enhanced camera system. We do have an SRO at the middle school. In addition, there'll be some updated procedures and policies that go along with that, being in a new building next year. Right now, I think that certainly with the events that have occurred over the last 20 years, we have to be very, very careful. And so security is certainly the top priority that we have whenever we are building, buildings in all facets of it. Not just the intruders, but fire and tornado and any of the things that can happen, any of the safety risks. So the building will be state of the art in that, and we're really looking forward to it. You have a new camera system at the high school this year, yeah, and that is really fancy. So it's going to be very similar at the middle school, and we'll see that expanded. And that was part of our Proposition 1 commitment last year, was that we were going to spend half of those funds on safety. So that's a good byproduct. You'll see it in the middle school as you're seeing it at the high school now. Yeah.
Along with safety, how do student-led civic actions like the April 20th student walkout affect you and the school board?
Well, they affect us in the fact that, of course, you get more calls. You get more interest in a hurry. But as I explained to most of the people I talk to, our students have certain free speech rights, and we wanted to do our best to work with students to make sure that we provided a format where those rights could be expressed, that were safe and as least disruptive to the environment as we could have. And those First Amendment rights don't trump other rights. and I felt that our students did an excellent job of working with our administration to develop to develop a format to be able to express their opinions. They did it in a very mature and real world fashion. So as far as the civics lesson goes, I think it was certainly a great civics lesson, actual lesson for us as a district and our students. But certainly one of the things that I impressed on the Student Government Association when I met with them just last week, and it's okay to have different beliefs and opinions, and we're a public institution, and you can express those in the appropriate format. So people have other opinions. You can't bully, you can't do those kind of things that is going to try to suppress that thought. So I thought our students handled it very well, and certainly we really liked the fact that it was attuned to the entire issue of school violence. The fact that when I talk with students, they understood that there's a great deal. There's mental health issues involved. There are there's relationship issues involved. There's the fact that teachers know students well enough to know if things are going on to turn them, have the students turn those into administration and law enforcement. So there was a lot to it, and I was proud of our kids, and I thought everybody handled things really well. And we will take, as always, there'll be some backlash, and there's always opposing thoughts, but that's okay. As long as you're doing it in an appropriate manner, you can have different thoughts.
It is hard to please everybody.
It very much is, yes. Yes.
Speaking along that was a new thing the district has done. Now that you've been here for quite some time, what do you think is the district's greatest accomplishment?
Really, our greatest accomplishment when I look back over my last 5 years is the growth in student performance. I believe it was about 5 years ago, we were in the 80s, and we have a thing called the annual performance report that our state does on our schools. And we haven't fallen below 95% in the last 4 years. So to me, that's a testament to what you all are doing in the classroom, to what our teachers are doing in our community and our parents. And as I always mention, the single most significant factor that the Army looks at with schools, it's student performance. One of the most significant environmental issues or concerns that the Army looks at as they evaluate installations are schools. So what we tell not only just our community but also larger Army is the fact that we have great schools here.
We do.
And students perform well here. We had AP classes for about 80 kids about 5 years ago, and we have over 350 students now.
That's a lot.
In AP classes, so and performing well. So to me, those are the greatest accomplishments. We've had some neat things and some awards given and stuff like that, but the most important things that our students are learning and able to perform on high stakes exams, because that's what you all have ahead of you. So
tomorrow, actually.
It's tomorrow. There you go. Yeah.
Being superintendent and being a part of all of those new accomplishments and things that we've done and things that we've added to takes a lot of impressive leadership skills. Who inspires you?
Oh man, that's a great question. Of course, my family first and foremost. I'm blessed to have 4 wonderful daughters and a wife, and that have always been very encouraging of me. Throughout my life, as far as leadership goes, I was also very fortunate to have coaches and teachers at a young age. Bill Sobey, who is a retired coach and administrator now, was very close. I student taught for him. He was always a mentor to me. Bill Lindsay was one of my science teachers when I was growing up. Ann Neatman was a social studies teacher. She was always an inspiration to me. I've had colleagues in the field. Randy McLean, who I worked with in the Kansas City area, certainly was an inspiration to me. And I think it's just an important part of leadership is looking and being observant of what's going on around you. And noticing folks that can help people move to higher levels and better performance. So I've been really fortunate to be around some great people, and I give them all the credit. So when I get a little down or it gets difficult, it's my wife doesn't allow that. So I have to get back up the next day and get after it. So.
All right. So now we have some viewer submitted questions.
Oh boy. Okay.
Ready?
Okay. I'm ready. Yes.
All right.
know we passed the Proposition B tax levy last year, and I was just curious as to, is there anything up and coming from that you can share with us? And then also, last year at the beginning of the year, we all really appreciated the staff t-shirts that we were given, and I've heard rumor that Mr. Schaffner will be printing us new shirts out of his own budget. And I just wondered if that was true.
Okay, with Proposition 1, actually, that's, first of all, very, very appreciative to our community. It's the first time since the mid-60s that a tax levy increase has been passed in our community, so a great testament to the folks that support us. But it is going very well. We spent approximately half of the funds this year on safety. We spent approximately half the funds on security. And we will continue to do so. Obviously, in this day and age, security is very, very important. And in addition, we spent funds on our new 2-to-1 initiative we have across the district. So it has truly went to protecting kids and helping kids. So things are going very, very well with that.
One of the district's most outstanding accomplishments this year has been the implementation of the district clinic. And I was just wondering what the community feedback has been in regards to the clinic, and if there are any ideas or plans for increasing the availability of the clinic and its staff to students and faculty from other buildings within the district.
We're very pleased and thankful to have gotten a grant through a federal grant. Actually, it works at the state level and opening clinics in school districts and other areas. And the clinic has went very well. We have a full-time nurse practitioner and an assistant in the district, and it's really paying dividends right now as we have students that are able to see a nurse practitioner right there in the school. It's at East Elementary right now. As part of the grant in the future, there's a possibility that we could actually expand to another nurse practitioner, which will be very helpful for students and also staff in our school district, because folks that are employed by our district can take advantage of the nurse practitioner. So the clinics have went very well. It's been a great thing for us.
Now that the hard questions have been asked, it's time for some fun. Are you ready for a speed round?
Speed round, yes, I'm ready.
All right, what was the last book you read?
Lincoln by David Donnell, and also Extreme Ownership by Lincoln Babe, and those are two that I've read recently.
What did you think?
What do I think of the books? Oh, outstanding. In fact, we used Extreme Ownership as a book study for our administrative team. It's a book written by two Navy SEALs that were in the Middle East in heavy combat and talking about taking ownership for your areas of responsibility. So that's been great. I'm just a history buff. I taught history, so I'm always going to have some kind of a history book open. I have an Andrew Jackson book open right now, and generally something to do with education also. I'm also reading a book called Grit about resiliency, student grit, authored by the name of Duckworth. So I love to read. I read just about every evening. It's a great way to not only relax but keep your learning going.
You're right. This has nothing to do with learning. I wish it did. But if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
Well, I'd be a tiger, of course. Just the notion of being a tiger would be great. I like being outdoors, and they eat well. Obviously, I like to do that too, and they're a little faster, I think, than I am. That kind of stuff. But no, I would like to be a tiger. I know some of my friends would be laughing if they're watching this because I should probably say Jayhawk too, because as everybody knows, that's my. But that is kind of a mythological creature, so I don't know exactly what a Jayhawk would do. So, but it is the KU mascot, of course.
What would you do if you weren't in education?
Boy, that's a tough one. I have been around education my entire life. My mom was a school secretary, and so I've seen all facets of the educational enterprise. I don't know that I can imagine. Even in my senior book in high school, I said I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. So it's hard for me to think, but I think it would be something outside. I think it'd be something outside, to enjoy the fresh air and that kind of stuff. But it's hard for me to even imagine doing something outside education.
I feel the same way. Know a lot of educators.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah.
What would your personal theme song be if you could pick one song?
If I could pick one song, well, I'm going to stick with this theme. I the tiger. See, so I mean that just follows along with my tiger animal thing. So no, but I think it speaks to perseverance. You know, and I think that's an important thing in life. You have to work hard and you have to persevere.
Like our school theme.
That's right. That's right.
Kind of a big message that our school gives.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Well, that is unfortunately all we have for today. Thank you, Dr. Henry, for being our very first guest.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. And thank you to all the audience out there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next year.